Dippy the dinosaur has been spared from damage after two protesters from Just Stop Smoking, only kidding, Just Stop Oil, were arrested at the Herbert Art Gallery and Museum in Coventry. Daniel Knorr, 21, a student from Oxford, and Victoria Lindsell, 67, an English language teacher from Leamington's Spa in Warwickshire, were arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to cause criminal damage. Emma Brown is a spokesperson for Just Stop Oil, who's going to justify this terrible attack on our most beloved replica dinosaur skeleton. Welcome to the programme, Emma.
Hi there. I'm Emma. I'm 32 and I'm a librarian from Glasgow, and thank you so much for having me on. So I've got a lot to say. First of all, fossil fuels are a dinosaur industry and we don't want to end up like them, do we?
No.
And so acts of like civil disobedience, like the one that you're referring to with Dippy, like that's really not our problem. Our problem is too much civil obedience to this government of nincompoops who are making decisions that are endangering our lives and the lives of our children. And that's what's not acceptable. And that is the true vandalism.
Oh, you can't stop there, Emma. I thought you were going to give us a good 5-minute monologue. But that is very interesting. So I mean, don't you risk alienating the public, really, for kind of 2 points? First of all, what's Dippy ever done to you? What's a nice Van Gogh ever done to you? Why are you guys damaging much cherished cultural objects in our country? And secondly, who are you to suddenly say that you're the spokesman for climate change when it's a problem that affects all of us and all of us are very well aware of?
Thank you for your question, Ed. Even just listening to your program and hearing you talking to the lady before about smoking, you know, we've had these situations before where unfortunately rich and powerful lobbies are pushing a product that is endangering the lives of us and our kids. And that's what we've got right now. And unfortunately, it's complacency that is our main problem. I don't know why you think that I would see myself as some kind of spokesman for climate change. You know, all I'm doing is following the advice of 700 scientists that have written to the government. You know, we're in a situation where our government are ignoring even members of their own party, even Conservative ministers that are saying that this is wrong, it's moral madness, it's economic madness. And it's not, at the moment, you know, we can talk about a painting, we can talk about a dinosaur skeleton, as if these things are like not relevant because we're talking about oil and gas. But unfortunately, everything is relevant because we're talking about our water systems, our food system. We're talking about devastating heat waves and droughts, and everything is going to be affected. So that's why we need to kind of use every tool in our arsenal to make the government do something about this. Because
and what's wrong with democracy? Why don't you stand for election? If you say
you know that democracy is not just about voting once every 4 years. Otherwise, we would still be living in a feudal system. That is not how change has ever happened. That's not how I
think quite a lot of change has happened.
My black ancestors, that's not how they won their freedom. There's always been a diversity of tactics within democracy, and one of those is non-violent civil disobedience. So that is why we are doing these acts, because we have a government, Ed, and we can laugh about Dippy the dinosaur, or we can act complacently about 2050, but we have a government that is knowingly committing an act of genocide by expanding fossil fuel production and opening a coal mine when it's 2023, and we know that entire nation states are at risk of being completely annihilated by climate change. That's the situation that we're at right now. And so that's why I'm finding this conversation quite bizarre, because it doesn't seem to be based in that reality.
Well, I don't think the conversation's bizarre. I mean, I just think that you alienate a lot of people with your actions, particularly when you glue yourself to roads and people who have quite urgent appointments. Sometimes even ambulances get stopped.
I know, Ed,
and
but
also that people, in terms of people changing their energy use, you know, things like solar power and wind farms and so on. And we can discuss the issue of the coal mine, but I'm not going to disappear down that particular rabbit hole. But
because you can't justify it. Can I just make one very simple analogy?
It's
very, very inconvenient, isn't it? When workers go on strike. It's very inconvenient when nurses go on strike and people miss their appointments. It's very inconvenient when railway workers or bus drivers go on strike, isn't it? Because people can't get to where they want to go, they can't get to work.
But I think the public understand why a nurse who works,
and that is why the act So
I
listen
think
to me.
I want to get my point in.
You got me on the program. Do you not want your listeners to hear about
I
the
do.
history
I thought you'd made your
of
point now.
protests? That is why, AIDS campaigners blocked roads. That's why disability activists blocked roads. That's why suffragettes slashed paintings. That's why civil rights leaders sat in roads. It's because you have to be unignorable and you have to cause basically a political crisis where the government have to negotiate with you because it's so blooming inconvenient. And that is why we do the things we do. And so I'd encourage you to maybe have a little look at that history, and I'd encourage your listeners as well. And because we're going to be on the streets marching from the 24th of April, not gluing ourselves to anything. We're asking people to come along, show solidarity, because we know we cannot continue this way. Most people are very concerned, and most people know that our government...
You're only going to march for the day, aren't you? You're only going to march for the day.
No, it's going to be every day for months
until
we get our demand met.
Okay.
And if you come out on the streets with us, Ed, if you come out and all your listeners come out, we'll get the demand won very quickly.
Okay, we'll be there. We'll be there.
We can get on with solving this problem. Because I've got a niece. I know you have kids. Yes. We want to solve this problem.
Listen. Jane Garvey is going to come and broadcast live from the march as a warm-up to her coronation broadcast. Thanks so much, Emma, for coming on. It was actually a very entertaining discussion. Thanks so much for coming on. There's a fantastic offer on subscriptions to The Times this week. This is not for Emma's benefit.